everybody. Oh, hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm petting my dog. You guys see her? She's down there. Joy, come on. Don't show everybody your butt. Say hi. There's Joy. Hi, Joy. Yeah. Joy's watching tonight. I hope we have a few other people tune in live. If not, feel free to watch this on replay. Tonight, I wanted to share with you guys some tips for getting started on Etsy. So we just started a little over a week ago, so I'm still pretty new at it, but I've been doing a lot of research, and I wanted to share some things with you that I think would help other sellers who might want to start on Etsy. The nice thing about Etsy is that it's free. It's not totally free, like you have to pay per listing, but there's no monthly fee. So it's a pretty low risk endeavor if you have the type of products that you can sell on there. So you can sell handmade products, and they have a very loose definition of handmade, which makes some people who are artisans mad, but which kind of helps those of us who maybe aren't artisans be able to sell there. So you can have a production partner. So for example, if you had something designed and it was your idea and you have it produced, then you can sell that on Etsy. So the other thing you can sell on Etsy is supplies. And there's a lot of products that count as supplies that you might not think. So for example, let's say, so anything that could count as an art needs supplies. So of course there's art supplies like paint and stuff, but there's also like people make teacup candles. So it's like a china cup that you have a candle in. So you could sell teacups, for example. People cook. So any cooking equipment would be counted as a supply. So I'm not suggesting that you make up if you can sell there, but check it out if your products are either private labeled or would count as supplies. I was surprised. A bunch of our bundles, which I would not have thought I could sell on Etsy, all count as supplies. So we are listing them on there, and those are wholesale private label bundles. Now, the deal with Etsy is, I get into this more in a minute. So that's, and vintage is the other thing. So for those of you who are eBay sellers, you may want to explore vintage on Etsy. Now, I don't know that much about vintage on Etsy because I don't shop there, but I would imagine things like specialty buttons and jackets and stuff like that. So just make sure you follow their guidelines about what you're allowed to sell, but it is pretty loose. The nice thing about Etsy, as compared to what we're used to, is that they are not Big Brother. So they encourage you to ask your friends to buy from you. They want your friends to leave you reviews. They want your community to support you. So you can share your Etsy store with friends, family, neighbors, in a way that you really can't on Amazon, or many people don't on Amazon. There's a lot of hush-hush secrecy about your products. So it's a nice way. First of all, it's kind of nice just psychologically. I've actually found people who've never supported me before have been sharing my shop, like neighbors, because they can relate to an Etsy shop more than they can relate to, oh, I produce products in a factory and sell them on Amazon. So, so it's also just kind of nice to have like a thing people relate to. Now, you can have your own website too, but tonight we're talking about Etsy. Etsy has its own traffic. So they're not Big Brother. They're not going to be like, oh, Cordelia is friends with that person on Facebook, so their review doesn't count. None of that. Okay. Next, we have all shop and product reviews help all sales. So for example, let's say that you have one item that costs $5 and you sell a bunch of them to your friends and family. Well, when you go to somebody's Etsy shop, it shows you how many sales that store has. So maybe I'm searching for something else. Like maybe you sold a $5 pot holder, but then I have a $50 cleaver, for example, hand carved handle. I don't know. When people go to look up the cleaver for $50, the little thing is going to say, oh, this shop has had 500 sales. Now, you might not have had any sales of that cleaver, but it still makes your shop look more legit because you've had all these other sales. And all your reviews also show on all of your products. Now, obviously, it's better if you have reviews of the actual current product, but especially while you're building up, you might have 30 reviews for your shop, but only 3 of them are for the current product. But when somebody's looking at that product, they'll just see 30 reviews, and then maybe the first few are about that product. So it gives you a chance to build up a little bit of clout in a way that you can't do on Amazon. Every listing on Amazon is its own island. Now, the deal is that you want to have a lot of listings on Etsy. So if you only make like 3 products, you may not want to try Etsy. Now, this is more anecdotal, but first of all, they tell you right off the bat, you should have 10 listings. And then they're like, you should really get up to 25. And then you join the Etsy groups and they're like, oh no, you should have 100. So work your way up. And the other piece of this tip that I'm sharing actually came from group member Fernando Sesteda, which is it's better to add listings over time for the Etsy algorithm than it is to, like, say, put in like 30 one day. Just be like, I'm going to book a day next week and just upload 30 listings. It would be better for you to do the same 30 listings over 30 days. So it just makes you look like you're more active in your shop. This is really annoying. So Amazon photos are supposed to be 1,000. I always make all my Amazon photos 1,001 by 1,001. Well, Etsy photos have to be 2,000 pixels. So, even if you have photography, you have to go in and resize all the pictures for Etsy. So that's a little bit annoying. And now on our new listings, I'm just creating 2 sets of photographs, 2 different sizes, because the 2,000 pixel photos are too large for Amazon. So, and I don't really understand why they do this, because from a purely website loading perspective, you would want to have smaller files, but they're real strict. If you upload a file that's too small, you get a little warning message and they don't let you upload it. So just keep that in mind. You can use your same photographs if they're high enough quality. You just have to actually resize the image so that it's 2,000 pixels by 2,000 pixels. So in Amazon world, we talk about keywords. In Etsy world, they talk about tags. Tags are these 13 phrases that you put into your listing. And it used to be that you could look at somebody else's tag. So you could go to their Etsy listing and actually just scroll down with your eyes and see all their tags. Now, the tags, they call them phrases. But I've been watching a lot of videos and learning, and you kind of get a double message. They say, put the phrases in that are most likely to be searched for your product, but you don't need to duplicate words, and you want to make sure you include as many keywords as you can. So I've been pretty much treating the tag fields like just back-end keyword fields. So you get 13 of them, and each one is up to 20 characters each. So, for example, our pot holder, let's say it was like a sloth pot holder, then you would want to put sloth pot holder in the first tag, because that's probably going to be your most, and that would be your title as well. But then, like, you don't need to write, because you'll see on some other listings, and I don't know if this is because they changed it or maybe the people didn't really understand how to do it or whatever, but you'll see like the next tag, they'll have animal pot holder. And then they'll have, zoo pot holder. everything I've read from Etsy and from other sellers says you don't have to repeat that word potholder over and over and over again. So I've been really treating the tag fields like keyword fields. So I'll put sloth, potholder, and then pot space holder, and then, animal zoo in the second tag field. So that's just a lingo difference, and it is different how you write the listings. And I have found that I have had to rewrite every listing from scratch that I have put up on Etsy. I have not been able to just copy and paste my Amazon listings and put them on Etsy. They just, the keywords don't fit in the tag fields right, and the description, they don't have bullets. So you get a very small field to write anything, and so you have to be real concise, because if you look at an Etsy listing, you'll see that they give you this like 3 lines of text and then it fades out. So if you write more than that, you have to click on the listing to read the rest of what you wrote. One of the videos I watched, they said that none of that stuff indexes. They don't call it indexing, but none of that registers with the Amazon, with the Etsy algorithm. So bottom line is you have to be super lean with your writing, and you do want to include things like your story, who you are, your branding, your business identity, warm and fuzzies that I wouldn't normally ever put in an Amazon listing. And this is what I was talking about. Descriptions need to be brief. The first few that I wrote, I tried to make them brief, and then I went and looked at the listing and I'm like, oh, 2/3 of what I wrote is just invisible to the customer. So I went back and slashed and slashed and slashed. So, I will take all my bullets and my description for my Amazon listing and just get it down to like a sentence or two. And then I do a little phrase about our business, and that's it. Now, I've seen some listings that have more than that, but just keep in mind that a lot of that extra stuff is more for your dedicated fans than it is going to be for the average customer. So it's just, you want to be much briefer. Is that my last slide? Oh. Yep, that's it. Okay. So let's review these really quick. So Etsy's not Big Brother. All your product reviews help all your sales. Make sure you add listings over time and try to get on as many on there as you can. Your photos have to be resized differently than they do on Amazon, and your tag fields are the same as keyword fields in Amazon. You get 13 of those, and they're 20 characters each. And your description should be brief. All right. So do we have any questions from the audience? Thank you, by the way, to those of you who are tuning in live. And thank you to those of you who are watching the replay. So part of our shop launch was, now our very first sale was actually totally organic. Somebody just found something and bought it, which was super cool. And then after that, I definitely reached out to some friends and family and asked them to buy some stuff. And, they will leave reviews hopefully when they get it. So that boosted that. And then that same day when those people bought it, like, we had a couple more organic sales. So we're still only 1 weekend to this adventure. To give you an idea of volume, one of my friends who sells on Etsy, she had 2,500 orders in the last 6 months. So she makes masks, and it's a pandemic. So granted, she sells something really popular, but I was really surprised by that volume. I didn't think you could really get there on Etsy. There are a number of people who make a full-time living selling on Etsy. So if you have the kind of products that can be on Etsy, I think it's definitely worth taking the time to explore. At the cost of 20 cents a listing, it's a pretty low risk. Oh, the other thing that I forgot to mention, when I didn't make a slide for this, so forgive me, but the way Etsy works is you have the 20-cent listing fee, and then you have a percentage of the sale. Everything is merchant fulfilled. You're fulfilling all the orders, or your warehouse is. And then they have this additional, so you can run ads where they're on Etsy, and you can run an ad campaign similar to how you do on Amazon. But they also have this thing called off Etsy ads. I think that's what it's called. I'll have to look up the name of it and post it in the comments. But this is a thing where, and this is something I really don't like. They advertise your products on their advertising feed on like Facebook and Instagram, but you don't have any say at all in your budget. So they are allowed to spend up to 15% of your cost of your cost of your product to sell it on these ads. And so you really don't get any say in that. So we opted out of that. I don't want to do that. Now, the deal is that after you sell over $10,000 on Etsy, whether it takes you a week, a month, or a year to do that, you no longer are allowed to opt out of that fee. They will advertise your stuff off Etsy and you have to pay for it. So just keep that in mind as you grow. But the big thing is that they automatically sign you up for this thing when you create an Etsy store. So go in and unsign up for that so that you don't get charged for these random off Etsy fees unless you want to. All right. So do we have any questions? How's everybody doing? Any comments? Otherwise, I am going to wrap this show up. I would love to hear we've already had some chats in the group about Etsy. We already have some members who are selling on Etsy and have been for a long time. If you're thinking about it, if you want to sit down and talk strategy, I would love to. I'd love to get some more conversations about that. Our order of operations is after this, we're going to work on our Amazon storefront for our brand. And then after that, we're going to really work on our Shopify site. And then we're going to work on driving our own off Amazon traffic to the different places because we really want to be diversified across marketplaces and have our own traffic as well. So that is our plan. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing really well. Those of you in California, I hope you're staying safe. I wish you guys all peace and prosperity. And next week, we have a really good show. Chris is going to come on and talk about importing and his experience. He's done a lot of it, and he's done it in a very, I would say, like realistic way. So I'm looking forward to, I always like talking to Chris Guthrie, but happy to chat with him and with you guys about that. So I hope you guys have a great week and stay well, and I'll see you next week.